Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion today. So today I thought I'd speak about, it was in regards to a video I did yesterday, but as I don't believe Reform UK and Nigel Farage are racist, should you vote for Reform UK and Nigel Farage when the next election happens in 2029? So even though I don't believe they're racist. I don't believe they're racist. I believe that they're populists. Okay, but the fundamental question is, should you vote for them? And it's my belief. It's not for me to say whether you should vote for them or not. I'm so against people telling you who you should vote for and who you shouldn't. And I've always, all my life, I've refused to tell people that. I remember I used to work for a charity, many years ago. I think this was when the Conservatives won their first election. It's just coming up to that election. And I was working with a bunch of women, actually. It was quite good fun. But it was for it was Clarity for the Blind. That was the charity I was working for. Basically selling toiletries. And nobody I worked with followed politics. I was the only one that followed politics. And they all said to me, who should we vote for? And I said to them, I'm not going to tell you to vote for. That's down to you. It's down to personal opinion, not for me to tell you. And I said to them, I always vote Conservative. But what I'm willing to do is tell you what they all stand for. And then it's down to you to go and make your own decision and put the cross next to the box if you want to go and do that. Okay, and that's what I actually did. So when I get asked this type of question, who should you vote for? Should you vote for Reform or not? I don't really like answering it because it's not for me to tell people. Okay, but this is where I am on it. Now, obviously, we haven't got an election for 4 years, so it's a stupid question, really, for me to even be answering at the moment. But this is the way I do look at it, is I see the problem with Labour at the moment and the problem with Reform. And they both have the same fundamental problem. But Labour is so far behind in the polls at the moment. They're probably, 20 plus points behind. I haven't actually looked at the latest polling. Okay, but they're saying anything to get people on side, especially to do with immigration, because Reform have the entire argument at the moment. Okay, not even the Conservatives can get involved in this. Okay, so obviously he's going on about the ID card, which is a Tony Blair thing back in the early part of the O's. Okay, and it went nowhere because nobody was going to support it. And the fundamental thing, and I spoke to a friend of mine last night about this, I said, ID cards are not going to come in. And why? Because it will cost an absolute fortune for the government to do it. Because you've got a population of something like 70 million, it's going to be free, and you've got to do a rollout for 70 million people. That will cost an absolute fortune. And when they can't even afford, and they're looking at having to raise taxes again this year, where the hell are they going to get the money from? And that's the fundamental thing. So, the reality is, in my view, ID cards won't happen because they won't get it through Parliament as an agreement, and they haven't got the money. Now, my second problem is this, and it's to do with Nigel Farage. And Nigel Farage has a track record for this going back so long, whether you're going to go to Brexit and even before that. Nigel Farage always tells you what you want to hear. He never tells you the hard truth. And for me, what a politician's job is to tell you the hard truth, whether you like it or not. That's their job. So if the country's in such a state, and let's say, for instance, they had to turn around, let's say, for instance, there was an election today, Reform won it, and they had to do an emergency budget. And if they had to turn around and say to me, right, say, Kevin, I'm sorry to tell you, country's finances are in such a mess. I know we promised to do this, this and this. We weren't aware of how bad it was. But what we're going to do is, say for instance, we're going to decrease all benefits across the board by 10%. We're going to remove the cap, though, to help for anybody with more than 2 children. We're going to remove that. We're going to cut corporation tax, let's say by, I don't know what corporation tax is at the moment, I think it's 25%, it might be 20%. Let's say they're going to cut it by 5% to get business moving again, so they're not struggling as much. And we're going to do all of that. They could do other things, but we're going to also put up VAT by 5%. Say for instance they're going to put it up by 5%. Okay, if they're being honest and that's what needs to be done, even if it means I've got to take a bit of pain over, say for instance, they have to do that for a 2-year period, I can accept that. May not like it, I may bitch and whine and do videos on here whinging about it, okay, and I appreciate they get slaughtered in the press about it, but I respect them for it. And that's the problem at the moment. But there's no respect for politicians because none of them can tell the truth. They will not tell you how it is and what needs to be done. They will keep on telling you what you want to hear. And that's the problem with Reform UK and Labour as things stands. They won't tell you the truth. They tell you what you want to hear. So for me to say to you, vote Reform or vote Labour, I won't do it. I would rather tell you to go and vote for the Monster Raven Looney Party or an independent, or even the Greens, to be honest, or the Liberal Democrats. That's what I'd rather actually tell you. Because, you know, you just got to look at the Liberal Democrats back in 2010. They said to everybody, oh, we get into power, we won't increase student fees. We won't do anything to benefit. So what do? Get into coalition with the Conservatives and agree to it all straight away. And that's why I see the problem. So, if you got any common sense, you wouldn't vote at all. But what I do see is all the parties need to start coming out and basically say how it is and what's realistic, not a load of BS which is categorically untrue that they know is categorically untrue, and they're just lying through their teeth. So let us know in the comments down below what you think. As I always say, if you are new to the channel, if you could give us a follow or subscribe, and obviously please do like and share the video as well. But for now, thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you all again a bit later.